happening, everyone? Remember yesterday when I said I wasn't going to stream? I feel like I'm going to be streaming every day until PulseChain launches. I'm not going to hold myself to that, but I'm pretty excited. And yeah, I wanted to talk to you all. Been busy all day, but finally got time to come on here for a little bit. Probably won't go for maybe an hour, 45 minutes to an hour. And I don't have some grand plan to show you all about this is what you should do. First of all, I don't give financial advice. I try to avoid predictions. I just simply describe what has happened in the past and ideals that people are talking about. So I want to set the stage for that. It's not going to be some Max's master plan of PulseChain launch. I think I want to talk through a few different ideals and let you know what I've been thinking about. And, kind of go through chat and see if you all have questions on certain topics, maybe stuff I haven't thought about before. I invited Sloth on, but I haven't heard from him all day, so he's probably not going to come. However, if he does join, it'll probably be super late, as a Sloth would do, right? So, I want to get kind of pick his brain on some of the Hedron side as well. But either way, yeah, should be fun. Got a few topics to go through. Let me say hi to the chat, and we'll get this stuff popping. What is up, Hex Edits? Have you seen the Hedron mashup that Hex Edits did? Very, very exciting. Type in Hedron mashup. A lot of cool stuff on that. Hope to see more content from him, and maybe I'll do some more mashups myself. I did a Maximus DAO mashup. If anyone wants to check that out, type in RHMax Maximus DAO mashup. Really fun to celebrate founders and projects that are just doing amazing stuff in our ecosystem. LLLs, I guess. LLLs. So how is the Pepe can do it? 100,000x in 11 days. We are predicting, hoping for, sustainability, I guess. Healthy games. Yeah, there's a lot I could say on that, but I'll go with those two for now. DJ and Dougie, what's happening, man? Good to see you. Good to see you. Jessica Clements. Great question. Hex Edits. Hex Edits, that's a question. I saw a heart and a rocket, but in your heart, we will rocket? ? I hope so. There'll be a lot of hoping today. Again, I'm not. This is not the Hopium channel, but I'll tell you what I hope for the ecosystem. Which, if you haven't seen it, again, I said it last night too when I did the crypto Twitter live stream. Check out that cryptographic stream. I posted a clip from it today. It was fantastic. So, highly recommend that for a lot of the hopes and dreams and things I believe that could happen in the ecosystem. Crypto compassion, what's happening, man? Every day for the rest of your life. Every day we shuffle. You gotta have some more memes around some of these pop culture songs from the last decade. There's a lot of good ones that I think fit our ecosystem. What's happening, Crispy, man? What's happening? Good to see you, Crispy. Rolex 23. I might own one of those one day. I don't know. I'm not much for watches, but we'll see. I like precious metals. And they make those in watches, or the other way around. So I have to get one day. Academicated. God, you got to tell me how to pronounce your name one day. Academicated. I'm not good at pronouncing it. Welcome. Sparky, what's happening? Coin Hobo. I like the name. Late to the show. No, you're not that late. Don't worry. Crypto Drive. Hello, my friend. Do you think Snapshot already happened? Well, again, as I said, I think it's important to distinguish between Snapshot and fork on exceptions. Generally, you can think about them in the same realm of the result being the same. But for this, I think we really need to concentrate maybe for the rest of until mainnet launch of PulseChain is a fork, and there won't be a snapshot as it's purely defined, as it's textbook defined. There's some parallels, but the distinction here, which may be causing confusion, is it is a fork. So Richard, for example, will pick a block height to say this is now PulseChain, and the network will start from this block height. And this will now be, the rest of it will be PulseChain transactions, stuff like that. So there's no snapshot and airdrop. There is a fork block height. And then there is a list of sacrificers who will be credited amounts of such sacrifice coins. And then the copies will just be there automatically because they'll now be P tokens. If that makes sense. But to your question, you think it's already happened. So do I think the block height number has already been chosen and so there's a couple questions there. Has it been chosen, and is it sometime in the past? Is it a past block fork height? I've said this a few times. I think it'll be close to mainnet launch. I don't think we're going to do 2 weeks before it. I could be wrong, but if I were forking a blockchain, it just makes sense to me to make it as close as possible to the launch of that blockchain. So I would say it's more like hours instead of days or weeks. Purely speculation, but that's what makes sense to me. Peter Smith says, PLS major FUD. You get a reference? I mean, there's always major FUD in some way. People still saying it's never going to launch. I guess they're right. I guess the jury's still out, technically. I'm not saying they're right, but the jury's still out because we haven't launched yet. However, if I were a betting man, I would not bet against Sir Ricardo Calderon. Let's see, guys. If you're new here, I only talk. I'm trying to think of the way to say this. I'm heavily focused on the Richard Heart ecosystem. So although Pepe, I'm sure we'll get our Pepe copies, it sounds like, on Richard Heart, and I hope they bring all the economic energy, and everybody has a blast. I don't know anything about it. I don't really care to, and so I won't be deep diving into any frog coins today. Richard Heart maximalist, right? I like this ecosystem. Anyways, let's see. Super Snake says, are you planning to participate in any LP farming when mainnet drops? Yeah, so that's something I want to get into. That's part of it. I think there's a lot of opportunity. K4K kind of talked about this in one of his more recent videos too, that there is advantages to being early in participating in different parts of the network. For example, if you get in early as a validator, the APY will probably be higher than it would be later on when there's more validators, right? It just, that's how that stuff works. You split it with less people, right? For the LP side, what I really took away from one of K4K's videos too, which was very important, is being early to farm things, especially like the incentive token. If you're putting up liquidity and you are earning fees and then you're farming incentive token as well, that could be pretty interesting, especially if you're in within the first hours or days or weeks even. If you have a bigger share in the pool, you're going to earn more. That's how it works. So I think that's underrated. As far as the launch plan goes, I guess we can just start with that. Like, that's something that if you were interested in incentive token and you earn more of it, being as early as possible seems like a good move there. Now, a lot of people won't even be able to do that because you need to have a big, the more percentage you are going to get comes from how much you're able to put up. So if you only sacked 1K, 5K of PulseChain and PulseX and stuff, if you don't have a lot to put up, then it doesn't matter how early you are, you're still not going to have a huge percentage of the pool. But if you did more than that, if you have significant amounts, I think I'd say a lot of the whales are going to be, just pure speculation. It wouldn't surprise me if a lot of whales who believe in Richard Hart's any token he makes not being a losing token, it wouldn't surprise me if they were early on that liquidity providing stuff and they were stacking those INCs. And maybe there's ways to use them. Maybe you can stake them. Maybe Tetra. There's been rumblings around Tetra project, a new project. There's not very many new projects I'm interested in, but I see a lot of promise with Tetra. I've been paying more attention to it recently. So there may be ways to stake and do strategies around incentive token as well as many other things. So that's something I would pay attention to. That's a great question. So I'll say that for now. Let's see, DJ and Dougie. Well, did they do a snapshot for testnets? So again, it was they went off a block height. I mean, I don't know why they would do anything different for the testnets versus mainnet. So I guess what they went off before was, I think V3 was from January, and then V4, I don't know. I really can't remember what they went off on V4. It's either January again or March. I really don't remember. But it wasn't super recent, but it doesn't need to be for testnet. Like, it's testnet. It's there for testing. So that makes sense. If you heard my explanation on the fork versus snapshot, it probably makes more sense too. Danny Ortega, curious about your opinion about launch plan or ideals of it. Yeah, I'll be going through a few different ones. I've got some notes. We'll talk about accumulation. We talked about, liquidity a little bit already, and incentive coin, but accumulation is a big part of it. Mid-May, still in play. Still in play. Thank you so much. I just bought $20,000 for that. Don't thank me for that. I never said to do anything like that. However, congratulations. I will never say, is there ever a case I wouldn't congratulate someone for buying Hex? Even if we're at the top of the bull run in 2025 and if Hex is $5, I'd be like, you still joined the winning team. You're joining at a very precarious place. But anytime we have Hexkins buying Hex or new people buying Hex, I don't know, just buying Hex seems good overall. It just feels good. Forget the money part. Just buying Hex just feels good. It really does. Got to be careful. Of course, you don't want to buy the top and then have to wait a long time or be sad for a long time. That true story. The last couple of years, a lot of people. But anytime somebody buys Hex out, feels good, man. Feels good. Skipped me. I'm sad. What's up, Hexy bastard? What's happening, man? Been a while since I've seen you, man. It's been a while. Hope everything's good. I gotta visit. I want to go over to the UK and hang out with Hexy and who else is over there? Is it Hexagon Girl and all the car folks, all the Lambo people. Man, Top Cat Racing. Yeah, I want to take. I was told I would be given a tour and get to hang out, so I definitely want to take people up on that. It sounds awesome. Godfather J6, what's happening, man? Good to see you. Susie Q. Good to see you as well. Good to see Susie Q. Hope to see people in Miami. Let me know if you're going. I have plans to be there and plans to be a part of some amazing Hexagon fun. Morning, RHMax. No notification on the show. I don't know why. People say they put the bells and then, I don't know, is YouTube... people have suggested YouTube is shadow banning me. Maybe it's the no monetization. I don't know. Like, everything happens for a reason, I guess. Any thoughts on 9-inch? Place to say, I don't know. I don't know anything about 9-inch. I've actually not heard of that, I don't think. I know 1-inch. Never heard of 9-inch. Not sure. Jessica says, I'm a beginner at crypto trying to learn testnet v3 best I can. Any resources to learn it? I look for YouTube videos. Not many thorough explanations. So you want to learn testnet v4? There's quite a few parts of it. I mean, there's the Beacon Explorer. There's the Launchpad, to help you get set up as a validator. There are, PulseX, of course, the premier DApp. People don't realize too, I think it's healthy to separate PulseChain from PulseX. I know the two had huge sacrifice phases. I know the Richard Hart products, but PulseChain is a network. I know this is going to sound, remedial, but really, PulseChain, the network launching, is way different than PulseX, the DApp launching. It's a DApp launching versus a network launching. So there's a lot more involved in PulseChain launching than PulseX. Yeah, PulseX needs to work correctly and all that, but they're wildly different. We're going to have a forked Uniswap on PulseChain as well. We already have it on Testnet, and Alex from Hedron forked Uniswap, so you can unwrap your LP and stuff. As far as I know, on PulseChain when it comes. So that's a DApp. That's just like the apps on the network. Those are contracts that exist on the network. So I don't know, just I think it's this everyone kind of groups them together, PulseChain, PulseX, as if they're like these two key parts to this launch. I mean, we don't need PulseX to launch. However, for the story of glory, the story of perfect launch, flawless uptime deal, all the bells and whistles complete, 2 years worth of work, gratified. Yeah, we need everything to be in great shape. I believe. I think it's what Richard, I speculate that's what Richard would like to see. But they are totally two different things. PulseX is a DApp. It's a DEX. So it's completely separate from PulseChain. They just happen to be, Richard Hart products. Anyways, I don't think we ever talked about that before. I don't hear a lot of people kind of making the distinction, but they're two different things. So as far as learning it goes, I mean, you just got to play with it. Really, I mean, I think there are some videos. Well, I think Fashion Coder makes some videos. I think, K4K makes some walkthroughs. Pretty sure Coffee's made some walkthroughs. I think different people have. I think the best thing is just to experience it yourself, connect to the network in MetaMask, start playing around, and that's the best way to learn. I think there's some videos out there, but you really gotta, I don't know, if you become a validator, you'll learn a lot. I'll tell you that. I've been learning a lot the last 3 months or so since I started figuring out how this stuff works on Ethereum and converting my knowledge to PulseChain. Let's see. One sec. So Rune says, what is your prognosis take on Metcalfe's law on PulseChain? So network effect, like the more it grows, the more it keeps growing and adding users and stuff. I think onboarding wise, one of the most genius things about PulseChain literally is the airdrop. Yeah, you can criticize it. Oh, all these coins are worthless. It's the carrot. First of all, how do you know they're worthless? Why wouldn't the whales from those coins, seeing an opportunity to make money, why wouldn't they bridge stuff over and tell their followers about it and do all this stuff when they can clearly see new network from the ground up designed to appreciate? No brainer. So there's a bunch of different criticisms you can quickly overcome with very reasonable positive outcomes for this type of stuff. And PulseX incentivizes a ton of onboarding as well, through liquidity providing and third-party tokens and all that stuff too. So I don't know. I feel like all the criticisms are pretty much can be defeated. Now, obviously, when we launch and we see how it does, then we'll know. We'll see how, I think the most interesting thing I think I'm interested in is the data and the stats 6 months to a year after launch. That's when we're going to know, did this stuff work or not? We're going to know. We need more than a month. We need more than 2 weeks. We need more to a day of launch. We need about 6 months of data and stats and charts to be like, whoa, did all these pump middles do what we thought they're going to do? Did they overperform? Did they not matter as much as we thought? I'm excited for that. I'm excited for 6 months from now to be like, well, that didn't work out so well, on particular verticals, or wow, this is something we never even thought would even happen. Richard talked about that with Hex. There's plenty of things he never even planned for that happened in Hex that were very good. So I don't think we'll have a problem growing. We're getting quite the bootstrap of the network. Yeah, I would remember that. Gabriel says, remember, if you do LP, giving up the token most in demand. I think that's a belief. I don't think that's a fact. What if you're doing PLSX? I mean, okay, so you're giving up most in demand. Yeah, but that's, you're supposing that the one in demand and the one flowing back and forth is not the one you want at that particular point in time when you get that more of it or less of it. So yeah, I'm not sure. Did you have another follow-up point? I'm not risking any. Okay. Oh, I see. So you're saying you don't want to risk taking something else for PLS. I don't know. I think Richard's even said this before too on all the vintage videos. A lot of stuff I've seen is like, hey, if you like both sides, if you like both coins and you're willing to wait, if you're going to put LP and do it for a month or two and then pull it out and declare victory, then that's a different plan than putting LP in there to, one, incentivize you not to sell, literally, from getting incentive token and fees and stuff, and two, give yourself time for the price appreciation. So I think, it depends on how big your bag is. If I do see another point in this too, like depending on how big your bag is, maybe you want, a lot of people going to want to run more than one validator. And, you got to decide how much. I've thought about that too. How much do I want to put towards lockup being a validator? And how much do I want to put towards LP? And how much do I want to leave on the side to, take advantage of opportunities? So that's a great question. You actually bring up a couple of those points. It depends on what you want to accumulate, and depends on your time horizon and how big your bag is that you start with, and how much dry powder you have to pick up any dumps that historically happen all the time. All the time. Dumps happen all the time. New projects. Not predicting anything. Just looking at the facts. Sorry to hear that, man. No worries. I know I missed you. We haven't had you on stream for a while, and you got a big brain. So you are slow, but you got a big brain. That's what counts. It's like having a big heart, but it's north, right? So I hope you feel better, sir. Hope you feel better, bud. Gold Key, one of my favorite people in this ecosystem. What's happening, man? Happy I didn't even know Cinco de Mayo. Jeez, you just woke me up today. I totally forgot it's Cinco de Mayo. Happy Cinco de Mayo, everyone. It's going pretty well. I'm just going to scroll through and you guys talk about launch stuff, and then I'm going to let that feed into my plan because we've already talked about quite a few topics. So it's going well. It's going good. Invite some more people if you like. More questions, the better. Like I said, I'll go for about 45 minutes to an hour. Got maybe 30 minutes left, we'll say. And I think it'll be good. I think it'll be an informational stream. Tell you what's on my mind, and whether you agree with my thoughts or don't, let me know. I think we need to attack stuff from all sides, figure out the pros and cons, advantage. There are no solutions, right? There are only trade-offs. So if you love PLS, you want to accumulate that, that's a trade-off. It sounds like you're going to be giving up your PLSX, your Hex, or opportunities to get those or other coins. So it's a real thing. Let's see. Hexbear says, when onboarding people to crypto, tell them to buy and get some skin in the game no matter where the price is. I think there's a healthy way to do that, even at all-time highs. The fact that you have skin in the game, there's a point to what you're saying. Now, of course, people can do it incorrectly, and they can put all their life savings in the top. We don't, that's not a wise thing to do. Generally, the consensus of the world has said that. However, picking up a little bit of something, even at higher prices, gives you skin in the game. Which incentivizes you to participate in the community, to learn more, to figure out maybe other projects you like and want to support. It gives you motivation to hang around and believe in these bigger ideals that a lot of us do. So there's you got to be careful, but it's not all downside if you have a little bit of something, even at highs. I'll say that. Now, money maximalist would say maybe the opposite of that. I'm not a money maximalist. I'm a RH maximalist, among other things I optimize for. Yes, Bobby, I would too. I had a great stream. Search RHMax Top Cat Racing. if you want to see that stream a few months ago. That was a fun stream. You got to go through a lot of the photos and talk to the people and meet the team, and cool peeps over in the UK. Shout out to UK Hexicans. Pepe Roddy, what's up, man? Good to see you. Good to see you. I'm doing well. I'm feeling good. That's why I want to do this stream. I've been thinking about it all day, and I'm like, I want to do this stream. It'll be a good one. What's up, Optimality? Yeah, just, yeah. Good advice, no name. Let's see, scrolling down, just clicking on mostly questions now. George says, is it worth the trade ratio PLSX to PLS or no? Oh, ratio trade. Sorry, I said that backwards. So that's a can of worms, man. I know it's a question on everyone's mind, these different ratio trading, but you just don't know. You got to figure out what's a good deal and then make a decision based on that. There's not going to be like this static, I wouldn't think, at least. I don't think there's going to be some static like, oh my gosh, PLS is on sale for the next 10 hours. It's going to be, I think there'll be a lot of arbitrage opportunities that most people won't take advantage of. It'll be just, some of the pros. And then, yeah, it's just the big unknown what's going to happen to Hex. I think that's the biggest unknown for me. I don't know what's going to happen to Hex. It could be really good, and it could be, I don't even want to frame it good and bad. I don't like framing it that way. Because good and bad is based on such a personal thing. Like, of course, we like, even price go up. If you're trying to accumulate, price go up. You could say that's not a good thing if you're trying to accumulate, right? And if price go down, you could say that could be a good thing because it's a chance to accumulate. So I don't like framing good and bad. I think you should frame more in opportunities, and opportunities stem from what you're trying to achieve. So I encourage everyone, write down a plan, write down what you want to do. Do you want to accumulate Hex? Do you want to accumulate PLS? Do you want to accumulate PulseX? Are you going for an incentive token? Write down what your goals are, what you want to achieve as far as what you think is probably going to lead to making the most money on whatever time horizon that you're looking to be in for. And then from that, start saying, if I were a person who wanted to do this, what would I do? What steps would I take? For example, if you're a person who wants to accumulate as much Hex as possible, PX, for example, well, you know what to do, right? You're going to have, if you want to get it for free, you got to hold it through the fork. If you're a person who wants to make fees on crazy volatility, maybe you want to play the LP game, even on the E side, there's ways to play it there. You got to be careful, of course, with the impermanent loss, it's going to go nuts on the P side. But on the E side, maybe you're like, hey, I want to collect all those fees. I know it's going to be nuts, so I want to collect those fees. Maybe you want to bet on certain coins. Maybe there's certain coins that are underrated or not thought of right now. Maybe the Maximus coins. And for example, you want to, maybe you're looking at the Maximus, I'm just random example here, but like Maximus coins, the perpetuals otherwise. And you're like, I think people are going to be focused on Hex during the ratio trading stuff. I think there's going to be good deals on Maximus. If you think that, then you're going to start optimizing your plan towards accumulating those coins because you're willing to wait in the future for the premium to eventually come around, and getting them at a huge discount is part of your plan. So that's one. You could start with what you want to do. Like, what is your angle around launch that you think you're going to be able to take advantage of? And then what is your edge? How can you take advantage of it? What makes you specifically, uniquely able to do that? Maybe it's just having a plan. That's an edge in and of itself. That's one edge. Maybe it's capital. Maybe you sack big. Maybe you sacked 100K. Maybe you sack 50K. Whatever a big amount is, to you and your lifestyle. And you're like, I have a bunch of Pulse. I have a bunch of PulseX. I want to do LP. I like incentive token. I think Richard Hart doesn't make lose your coins. maybe you don't think Sim token's going up 10,000x, but you don't think it's going to be a dump coin. So maybe you do some moves around LP. So that's one thing. So it's unanswerable. The question by itself, that's why I want to go in these different directions. The question itself, George, is unanswerable in my opinion, because it depends on so many other factors of how much you have, what your goals are, and what the ratios are. So you kind of got to look and see what they are and whether they line up with your plan or not. And nobody knows the future of what the coin's prices are going to be. So you got to fill in all the information you can. Now, you could also take the Charlie Munger approach and be like, what would I like, turn it around, invert it. So inversion. So instead of saying, I want as much hex as I can get, you could frame it like, what would someone who didn't have a lot of hex, what would they do? Or like, how would I avoid getting a lot of hex? Like, if I was someone who is not going to load up on hex, what would I do? And you say, oh, maybe I would trade all my hex for PulseChain or something like that. And then you do the opposite, right? You invert it. You say, you come up with a list of all the ways that you would not be able to do that. And then you don't do those things. That's another technique you could use to do it too. It's called inversion. Very useful. A little advanced, you got to kind of get used to these mental models and stuff. But that's one way to frame it. All right. Good question. Now they learn the basics of networking. Talking about validators, I assume. Yeah. Networking, command line. I did a video on this, or I talked about a graphic stream. I clipped it and I'll be releasing it. I'll be scheduling it for release, but basically I talk about if you're going to be a validator and not struggle and not depend on other people for a lot of help, you need to know Linux, at least the basics. You need to know how to use command line. You need to know how to use Git and run scripts. And you need to know some networking. And if you want to run it, that's for at home. If you want to run in the cloud, you need to know how to use AWS or whatever cloud provider as well. Really fun. Yeah, maybe I'll just do a series of PulseChain launch plan. It's really that's some good questions, and I get to kind of grok on these myself. I've thought about them a lot, and I've talked. I mean, you guys see me. I do a lot of interviews for a lot of different people, a lot of streams. So I get exposed to a lot of different ideas, and I got to pick and choose which ones make the most sense to me, and follow up and really try to go heads down and understand the ones that I just don't understand, and then make the best choices from there. That's how I do it. So I'm doing it like that. I'm just trying to share. I don't have anything to drink. I'm going to grab something to drink. I'll be right back. All right. Thanks for your patience there. Whew, I get a little thirsty sometimes, especially when I'm talking a lot. With solo streams, yeah, take a lot of energy because I'm constantly talking and thinking. So I need something to drink. Yeah, like I said, maybe I'll do this in a few different parts as well, just to kind of go through these questions because it's a lot of questions here. What's up, Hex Glenn? So let's see. Pulse Fusion says, "What's up, RHMax? 2 years of economic energy is about to explode on PulseChain. The future is bright for the Hexagon community. So DeFi DGens, get your dry powder ready, or buy Hex Bank shares. Let's go." I like that. I like the energy. I like that. There is going to be a lot of economic energy, billions of dollars unlocked, and man, what's going to be worth? What's going to be the market cap of PulseChain and PulseX? That's going to be fun to see. That's going to be fun to see. We are so good, we cannot be ignored. The influencers, all they're in. They want to start talking about it because they know there's money to be made. They know where the money printers are. The money printers are in our ecosystem. We should trademark the words money printer. That's how good this ecosystem is. Yeah, I know. The Tetra airdrop is supposed to happen yesterday, and now probably again. Annoying. The Ethereum is so bad at gas that founders can't even do an airdrop for coins. It's crazy. Favorable, unfavorable. That was talking about the good or bad. Yeah, that's a little bit more resolution, less emotional. I like to frame things less emotional, more resolution. Favorable, unfavorable, advantageous, and that less advantageous. Different ways. It's a good one. Let's see. All that, I'm assuming these are L's or I's. I don't know. I'm just gonna say that too. Is a 1 million PHEX bag goal good? It may be cheap when people ratio trade. I haven't really talked about this before, but everyone talks about hex OGs. It's like you've been there since the beginning and all that stuff. And I'm like, I think a better way to describe someone as a OG is more of how much they hold or by a minimum value, such as 1 million hex. It could be however much PulseChain, stuff like that. But I think that tells more about, how committed a person is. Maybe it's the number of the average stake length. There's a bunch of different variables. I think there's better things to, talk about OG stuff and to give OG status than just years been around project. What you've done for the community, your utility, maybe your average stake length, maybe the number of hex you owned. A lot of people aren't going to talk about those numbers publicly, at least the last two. But I think that's a better measurement than just like how long you've been in a project or how long, all that stuff. Anyways, back to the question. It's 1 million P hex. I think 1 million hex of any bag is a solid bag. So, just think, I love the way Coffee talks about it too. Is some of the videos, he's like, he thinks of hex as 1 hex equals $1. So if you think of 1 hex equals $1 and you believe that, it will go to $1 or surpass it one day, if you believe that, then having at least 1 million hex would mean at some point, again, if you believe it, you're going to have $1 million or more. So if you think $1 million or more is a good goal that you're able to extract liquidity from, or if you want to stake it and take your, keep your principal, but, get liquidity from your interest or yield or whatever. You want to mint Hedron and get the airdrops and all this stuff like that. Then, yeah, man, I don't think I think 1 million hex is pretty good to have. I feel like that's it's almost not a minimum, but I think that's a baseline. Maybe it could be a good baseline for people, if that makes sense. And your time horizon too, right? You're going to be here for 6 more months or 5 more years, 10 more years, 15 more years. All that determines, Yeah, I know. So that's the biggest question. That's what I want to talk about with Sloth too, is like, what are the coins in the ecosystem that have already launched and we're going to get copies of that are going to be undervalued during the fork? And people are like, can you imagine? We're gonna have the videos. Like I'm sure it's going to happen. we're going to have conversations after PulseChain launches about these spectacular deals that people got ratio trading. I'm not saying that to encourage anyone to ratio trade, by the way. I want to make that clear. I do not encourage anyone to participate in ratio trading. I think it's an advanced thing. Leave it to the pros. I'm not giving advice of any sort. That's, in my mind, that's how I think about it. However, I think there will be a lot of stories of people getting amazing deals ratio trading. And I'm excited to see those stories. And I hope, if you choose to participate, I hope you're part of it, but you have to be very careful. Tyler Ming, if I had 10K to invest in a new PulseChain, PulseX, what would you do? So I guess the question is, if I had 10K, would I put it in the PulseChain or PulseX? Yeah, again, I try to give advice on these specific things like that. I think they're all winners. I'll say that. I always say it like this, like, do you like ice cream? If you like ice cream, if somebody asked you, would you like 2 scoops or 3 scoops of ice cream? Which one would you rather have? And you're like, well, I like ice cream, so I'd like to have both of those. So even if PulseX outperforms PulseChain, PulseChain outperforms PulseX, you still got lots of ice cream. So I just don't think to me, it's not an important question. Like, if you believe they're both going to do 10,000x, if you believe in the meme of 10,000x, if you believe they're both going to do 100x, if you believe one's going to do 100x, one's going to do 500x, do you really need to spend that much more time figuring out which one's going to do which when you could just, make sure your bags are set? So I just, I wouldn't prioritize that as a super important question. Yeah, hopefully that makes sense. Let's see. I'm not even close to catching up with chat, and I got 15 minutes left. So I'm going to try to hurry up. What's up, Unplugged Dad? What's up, Hexographer? MA says, expect to dump at the start, then moon. Historically speaking, there's always a dump, historically speaking. Now, whether you take advantage of such a thing, if it were to occur, that's a different story. That's what separates the 1% from the 99%. Being sensitive and taking advantage and acting on opportunities. That's there's always going to be 1%, always going to be 99%. You want your edge to separate you and put you in the 1% category, if all possible, in whatever vertical you're in, whether it's investing, whether it's this ecosystem, whether it's sports, whatever it is. You want to separate yourself to be in the 1% of whatever it is, because that's who wins, right? They win the most, at least. I'm not saying the 99% don't win. I'm just saying the maximum winning happens in the 1%. So if you want to get into that as much as possible. My belief. I meet with my private PulseX Sacrifice clients Sunday for a launch plan. They're ready. Cool. Good to know people are ready. Good to know. You should build a SINS token. Actually, it's LEVF token now. Because Aubrey started the Longevity Escape Velocity Foundation. I mean, I'm sure SINS is still doing amazing work too. I support all longevity pieces and parts and foundations. And maybe Richard will do the Heart Foundation one day, and I'll be supporting that. Certainly hope so. Wouldn't it be amazing if he was able to take wouldn't it be amazing if whoever the OA was able to take all this money when it was way appreciated, there's tons of liquidity, things have stabilized years and years in the future. And without hurting the price, they were able to take that and save people's lives with it. Wouldn't that be amazing? my Hex can. Yeah, my people want to sell Hex and say F the copy and buy PX off market because I think it'll be sub penny. Your thoughts will be okay. Interesting. So, I mean, apparently that's what a lot of people. I've had a lot of conversations. Money Spinner Strategies. Dylan was talking about this too. He's talked to people. Wells, or he knows of this, and we can see it reflected in the price, right? Like a lot of people don't care about the copies; they want to have dry powder. So if they believe that, if they're okay sacrificing their copies of PX, not because they think PX is going to be worthless, but they think that the dump opportunity for PulseChain and PulseX and/or will be so incredible that that's where the max gains are. I mean, that is one thesis, right? The other, it could be a counter thesis too of there's been so much excitement that goes into the PulseChain launching that the dump is heavily delayed or doesn't happen or isn't as severe. And all the new economic energy coming into PulseChain, the premier token going to be Hex, and it moons. So there's a counter thesis to that as well. So we gotta see how this stuff plays out. So yeah, who knows what's going to happen? Honestly, like nobody really knows. We only have educated guesses. We only have theses, and then we see how if they become true or not. So that's all I can do too. That's all anyone can do is prepare yourself for what you believe is the most likely thing to happen, and you're able to profit from in your particular situation. That's all we can do. That's all anyone's trying to do who's strategizing around this stuff. Antonio Miranda, what about your PulseX stake sell tokens? Buy PulseX stake sell tokens. Buy. Are you saying just sell the yield from the tokens you earn, I guess, in PulseX? Yeah. I mean, that's something you get incentive token for farming and stuff with LP, the third-party tokens, they'll be, you can farm those as well. So, yeah, that's you got the buy and burn for PulseX as well. It'll be interesting. That's another question I had, which is there's this big movement. I saw this video from Power City about can we all get together and nobody press the buy and burn until the amount gets really, really high and cause these huge price swings. I don't know how we're ever going to get everyone together to agree that. Because all it takes is one person, pay some gas and do it. And gas is going to be super cheap. We think anyways, right? So, yeah, I guess the yield opportunity is going to be interesting. Maybe there'll be some, again, that's why I'm excited about Tetra. There's opportunities to automate a lot of these strategies. Haunted strategy of just one of the many, many ones. Be a marketplace to use it. I think a lot of these strategies, as you just described, may be automatable by Tetra. So that's we'll about to see. All right, I'm almost caught up with chat. I'm almost there. Just imagine the buy pressure from exchanges or crypto VC wanting your PulseX Hex phase. I hope so, sir. I certainly hope so. Thank you, M21 photo. Appreciate that. If anyone who tweets and tags me on these streams and stuff, I try to like and or retweet. So definitely try to acknowledge you when you get the word out for this type of stuff. So appreciate that. Thank you. And acknowledge you right now. Put you on screen. Talk about it. So I think talking to the chat is very underrated. A lot of people, a lot of streamers, everyone has their own style. They focus on all their stuff, but I think talking to the chat as much as you can. Sometimes it's just too much going on, but especially when I'm interviewing people or streaming. Right now, I guess I have the most possible focus and time to talk to you because it's just me up here, and I don't have like I'm not doing a presentation or anything. All right, scrolling. Well, I thought I was caught up. Crap. Maybe not. Yes, I am. A great question, Emma. I have set up for Mad Gains Mindset. So I did the first Mad Gains Mindset with Maxim a couple months ago or so. It went wonderful. I love the mindset conversations. So I'm going to do the second one with cryptographics next Wednesday, I want to say, I believe. I have to double check. I think it's on the 10th, and it should be a banger. I love talking to graphics. Smart guy. Let's see. Best thing you can do is have powder, don't sell anything, and you really can't lose. That is one thesis that makes me smile a little bit. I like that. I like that. What do you think an average APY validator will earn once mainnet launches? Debating how much I want. K4K had some info on this. What was the number? Came up to be like one validator. It may take a while to be profitable, but the earlier you get in, the more share you get. 5 validators. Now we're talking 10 validators. Pretty good number. 100 validators. Ooh, hard to lose, I would think, on that one. But we don't know. We don't have any data. This is all brand new stuff, and that's why it's so speculative. We don't have a lot of concrete data to go off of. So it should be interesting. Provide Ape in the Park Foundation. I mean, it's a foundation. I don't know how much money you're going to make from it, but it could save your life or save your loved ones. So that's what I'm in longevity for. But if you can make money doing it too, man, imagine if you could make money investing into not just biotech, but longevity. I hope that's the case someday, man. That's how we bring the masses in, right? You give them, you incentivize them properly. Right now, it's like, oh, nobody cares. Everyone dies, don't they? It's not the point. What's up, Vets in Crypto? Appreciate you, man. Crypto Gains Club. Got that Richard Magician hat on. I like that. All right. I'm scrolling. I gotta wrap up. No, I will not. What are you replying to? I didn't see anything in the chat. Or did I say something? Speak up the devil. Graphics is here. Can you do a video on after gains, how to offload? Man, it is so hard to talk about that. I've really been trying to get this stream together of like, how do we take profits, Again, sacrilegious, don't sell the coins, don't sell your money printers. I'm not talking about selling your money printers. I'm talking about, I want to have an objective conversation to talk about fiat on-ramps, off-ramps, to talk about, minting stables, taking loans on your crypto using, liquid loans, Power City, all this stuff. Maybe it's locking it up. Maybe with Tetra, for example, you earn stables by staking it, and from the fees you earn that. Or Neil for T-shares, I think you mentioned like, what if you could automate it where it automatically deposits those stables you earn to your bank account and stuff? I was like, that gives a whole new meaning to passive income. Like, wouldn't it be cool if you could literally, your money printers could put the yield they earn, you don't touch principal, but put your yield, you're getting paid, weekly, monthly, whatever it is, turning the dollars into deposits. Like, that's the kind of stuff that gets me excited about. So it's hard, man. Like, it's hard to have those conversations. I've been trying to get Xerox Coast and Stoic on the show for a while. So tag us on Twitter. Tag Xerox Coast, tag Stoic on Twitter. Tell them come on. I've been preparing for a while to talk to them about fiat on-ramps and different strategies around offloading and cashing out. And, I'm sure maybe I'll have some more conversations around Tetra around that too. But it's definitely an interesting topic. You're definitely not alone for wanting to learn more about it. So I hope that I can have some more of those conversations because I want to learn more myself. I have some ideas, but I want to learn more. Coolest thing from Vegas PulseCon was looking over during an art stream and seeing art. It's like, hey, what you gonna do, YouTube? Yeah, it was funny at PulseCon last year. It was amazing to see people come up to me, and this is when I hadn't been streaming, but maybe 6 months at the time, 4, 5, 6 months, and it was pretty surreal. People come up, oh, I love your YouTube channel. I'm like, that's crazy. So excited for Miami, excited for Expo to hear more about that. I heard you talking about streaming again. I thought I timed it well, but oh yeah, sorry. I'm just catching up with the chat. No, I will not. Well, sir, you've already agreed to it, and I know you're a man of your word, so don't just. Sorry, some of these comments are funny. Definitely, are you gonna do the rags for riches? Like, do not subscribe, do not like this video. Be the opposite. It is Cinco de Mayo, so it is the time to have some fun today. Let's see. Cyberlog, what's up? You don't know. I gotta wrap up, everyone. I got like 3 minutes. I'm just trying to blaze through these comments again. If anyone has any questions in particular, put them in right now, because let's see. Cyberlog, what kind of fees and dollar value do you think we'll be seeing in PulseChain the first couple months? Just purely guessing. In dollar value, I mean, it's got to be pennies, right? I would say. I wouldn't expect it to be any more than pennies, because the price. So that's why, people get triggered. You're like, oh, PulseChain, cheap fees. If it's like that forever, then that means PulseChain didn't do a 10,000x, right? If it does 10,000x, then the fees, they may still be cheaper than Ethereum, but you need the native token to be worth a lot more money, because that's how people show they value it, right? If people don't value things, they're usually not worth a lot of money. It's not a lot of demand or business in them. So eventually, maybe it's 10 years from now, but whenever it is that, or maybe it's 2 years from now, who knows? Eventually, the cheap fees, that's like, I've had this dip catcher conversation a bunch of times too. It's kind of like the lowest common denominator, and eventually, higher fees means people value the network. The price appreciations probably went up. That's why they're higher, and all that stuff. So eventually, I hope there are higher fees. I mean, and I say that directly. Now, if there's some technology, there's some EIP or PIP, maybe our devs come up with some stuff and we implement it that lowers fees without, and PulseChain price is still super high. Well, that's a different story. But in general, the thinking should be like higher native token price, probably higher fees on the network. And you see it with Ethereum. People are paying tons of money right now. Every once in a while it goes down. Every once in a while it goes up, but it's, I think it'll be cheap in the beginning. I'm just, if you were at just water pistol in my head, I'm like, pennies. I expect to pay pennies. So we'll see. Peter says, I'm pissed everyone. He stopped saying it's coming today. I mean, we need one of everyone in the ecosystem. So yeah, I did get on Furu's and I was like, guys, I don't think it's coming today. I did tweet, I don't think it's coming today. But whatever. People get excited. Don't follow or mute or use those buttons if you need to. So when you think realistically it will release? I'm still shooting mid-May, man. Until mid-May passes and there's no release, I don't see any reason. I can't think of why it wouldn't launch this close. We got, Brett up. We got him tweeting like crazy right now, telling validators to get ready. I just realized I didn't share the screen at all today. So I guess I just wanted to talk and not reference anything. So yeah, I'm sticking with mid-May, man. Who knows though? Who knows? I hope mid-May. Pulse Fusion, thanks for your service, RHMax. Your wise content is priceless. Champ, love your show. Hopefully you can all party together, man. Yeah, man. When it does launch, here's another thing. First of all, I appreciate the kind words. Thank you very much for that. It is not easy, but that is my service to the community. I try to provide quality content. But what nobody's talking about is the insane launch parties that may be happening. Everyone, get your fluffy slippers on. When PulseChain launches, I imagine there'll be some parties. So I'm excited. Should be some cool stuff. All right, Max, I want your opinion about it before the sacrifice. You're the one of the most honest streamers out there. Thank you. Appreciate that. I don't know what you want my opinion on, though. Did I miss comment here? I don't see a previous comment from you unless it got modded or something. So appreciate the compliment though. I don't have an agenda. I do pride myself on that. All right. One more question here. One more question. What price from SAC rate are you expecting both Pulse to hover around the first few days of launch? Man, I do not know, Mohammed. That is the $1 billion question, right? Like then you would know if we knew the answer to that, you could start planning how much dry powder you want to devote to that. You would be able to see, is it worth having dry powder or using your hex copy or trading it over? Like, so if we knew that, then that would be good data for a lot of other equations that we're trying to figure out. However, I'm pretty sure I clipped some vintage RH stuff recently. I might have released this. Maybe it was at the ratio video, maybe, where he said he would think, again, don't quote me on this, but I believe from memory of clipping this, he talked about around SAC value is what he would think. And I think he was just speculating too, if that helps. Pretty sure RH said that. You can watch the ratio video I posted a couple days ago. I believe it's where he talked about that. So hopefully that helps. Oh, dude, I know. I think what is Selmy? Is he Australian or something? Hopefully he can make it over to meet up wherever we are, UK or America, either one, wherever it's going on. And yeah, he sounds like a fun person to party with for sure. Optimality's having a launch party. I know. I think I might have or maybe get together with their local meetup and have some kind of launch party too. Maybe Valley Brand. We can check it out. Mohammed. Yeah, of course, man. Of course. All right, everyone. God, you got Dustin Wilson. Last question. Are Chromebooks safe to use for crypto storage, MetaMask transactions only? I'd have never used a Chromebook for crypto stuff. However, I heard that a lot of people like doing that. And I don't know. I mean, I think I like Mac and hardware wallet, Linux, hardware wallet. Anything but Windows, I say stay away from that. Search for my security AMAs or all that stuff if you want to hear an elaboration. But Chromebooks, I mean, theoretically, they are more locked down computers. If you use MetaMask on them, which I'm pretty sure I've heard people say that you could do that, they sound safer than Windows, for example. However, I would say they're controlled by Google, and I'm always suspicious of OSs that have that. Apple the same way. There's that risk as well that they've had some privacy concerns as well. So it's hard. Run Linux if you can. Not a lot of nasty stuff going on there, it seems like. But I like MacBooks. I like hardware wallets. I like driving down the nice street, not the one where I'm going to get jumped. And that is Mac versus Windows reference. Appreciate you, Crypto Truth. RHMax reminds me of Beast from Next Sense. That's I like Beast a lot. I vibe with Beast. I appreciate that. Thank you. I like that. All right, everyone. Appreciate you all. This was fun. I might have to do another one. We'll see this weekend if I stream again. Maybe I'll do a launch plan part two, something like that. That being said, hope that was helpful. Have a good Friday night. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Scivive and 5555. We are out.